This lesson will be about finding the difference. When most people see an equation that looks like this, they would say 20 minus 15, 15 subtracted from 20, 15 less than 20, but the children know that they can also say it, what's the difference between 15 and 20? Notice what I did. I said the second term first, and then the first term last. What's the difference between 15 and 20? Let's see this in action. In this case, we would say, what's the difference between 3 and 10? Now let's see how this actually works. If we use a number line and we say, what's the difference between 3 and 10? We know the difference, or the numbers between those two numbers, is 7, so the answer is 7. Let's do something a little bit more complicated. Again, the proper way to say this is, what's the difference between 179 and 523? Let's use the number line to demonstrate this. What's the difference between 179 and 523? Now, since this is a little bit more complicated than our previous example, most students would make the jump to 200. So what's the difference between 179 and 200? And up here we can write 21. Now, the leap from 200 to, let's say, 500 would be another 300, and the leap from 500 to 523 would be 23. We then add up all our leaps or all our jumps together to get a total of 344. Now let's try this again. Our ultimate goal is to be able to have the students find the difference using the number line in 2 jumps or less. So if we again jump to 200, we know the difference from there is 21. And here we should be able to tell that the difference is 323. Again, adding these two together, my final answer, or the difference between these two numbers, is still 344. So the ultimate goal is to be able to make this in 2 jumps. However, some students aren't there yet, and we need to do it in a few more jumps, and that's okay. So let's say the student jumps to 180, realizes that is a jump of 1, then to 200 to realize that that is a jump of 20, next to 300, that's a jump of 100, to 400, a jump of another 100, a jump to 500, and then from 500 to 523, we know that that would be 23. So, again, adding these all up, this would be 300 plus 21 plus 23, again, to give us a total of 344. So, if you need to make more than 2 jumps, please feel free. But again, hopefully, we'll be able to lessen our jumps to make it more efficient. Let's move to a decimal number. Same thing applies. What's the difference between 86 hundredths and 2 1/10? Using the number line, again, keeping in mind that our goal is to make 2 jumps, I'm going to jump to 1, and I can write it like that because I can put as many zeros as I can behind it. If I think of this as money, I know that I will have to jump 14 cents or 14 hundredths to get to 1, and from 1 whole to 2 1/10, my jump is going to be 1 1/10. If I now add these two together, I have 1 24/100 as my final answer. If I have yet another example, what is the difference between 19 4/10 and 42 5/100? Using the number line to demonstrate this, you write it as follows. If I make the jump to a nice friendly number of 20, I know that the difference between those two numbers is 6/10, and from 20 to 40, I know is another 20, so from 20 to 42 5/100 is going to be 22 5/100. My final step is to add those numbers together for a total of 22 65/100.